Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. It's unfortunate that we didn't even get to the dragon. Because people fucked up the fucking bridges twice. That's really frustrating. It's like, I don't know if you were paying attention to our chat, in-game chat, but basically, it seems likely what happened is that the time mage wasn't paying attention, didn't stay in the row with all the people in their group, and then died to those line AoEs. And it's just like one example of how I just do not fucking get how people do that, right? Like, everyone's in the line. Just get in the fucking line. That's all you have to fucking do. Then you don't have to move. And then you see them get in the line, and then like, oh, cool, the AoE is gone. Now I'm going to move. It's like, why? Why are you moving? You are not a job that needs to move. Why the fuck are you doing that? You know, like, it's weird. You get some people who just like feel the desperate need to move, and it's like, you don't need to move. Although from what they were saying, it could have been that they did a comet, because comet's really powerful, has a really long cast time. But what you can do is you can do swift cast on it. So if they were like a black mage, they could, and they don't really need their swift cast ever. You can just do swift cast and that. So it seems like they did that a little too early, which is stupid. Shame the tanks weren't able to save them, and I mean, again, same, like they weren't rezzed quick enough, and you know, I don't know when it happened, but it is kind of rough because it's the kind of thing where it should have been caught, they should have been rezzed before you even move on to the next thing. But again, like, people weren't paying attention that much because this is not like the hard part of bridges. Realistically, the hardest part of bridges is just the final two bosses that you have to like manage a bunch of mechanics while, all together, while both teams try to beat it at the same time. All the stuff up until that point, as long as you take it slow and steady, it's pretty easy. It's very simple. A few moving parts here and there, but like otherwise, it's pretty simple to do. And the fact that people just keep fucking it up is just really frustrating, because it's just like, I'm trying to prog the actual boss, and here we have some fucking morons who keep fucking us over. It's like, dude, like, we're Dragon Prog. You should, and I do get it. Like, Dragon Prog means, did you ever get to the dragon, right? Which means you just cleared bridges once. Which, yeah, you could have done bridges once. You could have cleared bridges once, but you weren't like a tank, or you weren't a time mage, or you weren't a this or that. And that's kind of the problem. And I did mention it in game to my team members, is that when you do random role assignments, like when you don't have predefined roles and you basically just wait until shit happens, you're going to have some roles that just aren't filled. You might have a guy like, oh yeah, I know what the fuck to do. I know what to do. I want to be time mage. And they're like, okay, that's well and good. But then sometimes you just get some, oh, well, we need a time mage. Hey, can anyone like be a time mage? And you know what happens? You just get a bunch of people who don't know what the fuck they need to do as time mage. They don't know the rotation for time mage. And so this guy did Comet, not realizing how powerful it was, and before tanks fully get aggro, and it's just like, yeah, you should have not done that. You should have started with your other attacks first, and then, then do it. Especially because it's like, dude, you're just needed for that second set of ads. For that second ghost thing, you're just needed to dispel that. How about you just don't fuck up until that point, right? It's just like, all you have to do is just put it, you want to use it later? That's fine. Just use it fucking later. So, yeah, that is unfortunate. It is annoying. The super trap as well, which is like, Jesus Christ. The guy said is the guy saying, oh, I hit the wrong button. It's like, you don't accidentally do this, because you have to hit the button twice, right? So, most other abilities don't need you to hit a button twice. Most things are like, it's either you hit the button once and you start a cast. Hitting it multiple times while you're casting doesn't do shit. So most of these don't ever really need another button press. There are a few things. I don't know, maybe they don't. I don't have it. Yeah, I think all my things need targets. Yeah, there are a few abilities that have AoEs that you have to land. Now, they didn't change it. Before, you had to, like, if it was this X button, you have to press the X and X again. If it was the square button, you have to square and then square again. Square brings up the targeting reticule. Square again would actually activate it. or you could, yeah. So basically, you have to double tap it, or you hit it once, targeting reticles up. If you press the X button or confirm, or if you're on mouse and keyboard, I think you just click. So basically, you hit the button, then you click. So, I mean, yeah, if he's mouse and keyboard, I could see him actually hit the wrong button and click. But it's also like there's not very many jobs that would ever have you do that. So it's kind of weird. So yeah, it might have been a mistake, but it's like, dude, come on, man! Like, Jesus fucking Christ. It's this kind of annoying thing because I think on some level it's a problem with our shot caller. Like, we're trying to get a group to do this stuff, and he's kind of getting a little lax in explanations for bridges, and which is fine because like a lot of the people are the same people who did it like the day before and the day before. But for the new people, and that's another reason why not having assigned roles is kind of shit, because we don't, and because it's constantly bouncing around. We don't know who's familiar with everything. And realistically, what Ned should do is like talk to each one. Hey, Time Mage, make sure to stay like, be careful. You know, don't fuck up. We need to be alive for the second ad. Don't do anything too crazy before you spell that. After that, do whatever the fuck you want and die for all he gives a shit. You know? For Rangers, he should explicitly say, hey, you can pop all the traps you want until we get to the point where those 6 ads appear that we use Romeo's Ballad. There's 2 traps that appear near those 6 ads. You can pop those, but anything else beyond that, do not touch your Falcon at all until we direct you to get a specific trap. You know? So it's like, you shouldn't even... Yeah. So... And the fact is, like, we heard that there was another guy who started a run at 9 o'clock, and they also died to bridges because some person fucked up the trap, and it's just like... It's frustrating because it's kind of like a waste of time. Like, it's not super bad because I'm still getting Sanguinite, so it's like, cool, at least I'll be able to get my casting set to +2. I can get one of my pieces to +2 because you need 60 of these, which is fucking insane. Because I think on a full run, like if you actually clear Fork Tower, you get 10. And 10 gets you 1 fixative, and you need 6 fixatives per piece of gear, which is like, are you fucking kidding me? I need 6 tower runs to get 1 piece of, like 6 complete tower runs to get 1 piece of gear upgraded. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's fucking insane. Like Baldesion Arsenal, not Baldesion Arsenal, Baldesion Arsenal does need a lot of fragments for everything, but like, it's also much easier to do. And Deliverance Average is like, there's 5 pieces, and each of the bosses gives you a fragment of a piece. So if you beat that boss 10 times, you can turn those 10 fragments into 1 piece that can be used to upgrade your gear. So technically, you need to do 10 times versus Fork Tower 6. But remember, that's Fork Tower 6 is to get these are 6 Fork Tower runs to get 1 set of +2 gear, whereas 10 runs in Delubrum Savage gets your entire set complete, because you're getting the fragments from every single one of the bosses. And so even if you have absolutely shit luck, after 10 runs, you will get the 10 fragments for each of the 5 pieces, and then be able to get your augmented gear, your augmented Lost Order gear. Actually, no. The augmented Lost Order helm. Wait. Oh, I see. Yeah. These only give you 2. So you need a lot of gear. You need a lot of, and that's the thing is, and that's just with the that's the bare minimum essentially. Change something. That's the bare minimum, or that's the maximum number of things you have to do 10 runs. You could get lucky because well, first of all, each of the bosses that give you those fragments, instead of a fragment, it could just give you the full piece. So rather than needing the 10 fragments to get exchange for the upgrade item, you could just get the upgrade item flat out from any of the bosses. And then also, beating the final boss guarantees you one full piece. Not a fragment of piece, but an actual piece. And actually, I have them all here. All right, yeah. So this is it. So I have one headgear, 3 body, 25 foot. And the reason why I have so many feet is because you get the feet from the first boss. And the unfortunate thing is, I beat the final boss, and I've gotten like full the foot part, which is like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Really? Are you really fucking kidding me? Like, this is the easiest one to get because it's harder to get and beat the entire boss, so you might like fuck up and die to any boss up until that point. So, but at the very least, you should be able to get the foot piece. So, I can exchange for 2 feet. I can exchange these 25 for 2 more of these, and I have 4 of them. It's like, it's fucking annoying as hell. I can't do anything with them other than augment feet pieces. So it's like, oh, that's fucking stupid. But yeah, so that's how it is. But like, so that's 10 maximum to get a full, to augment all of these to plus, or well, not really plus, it's just augmented Warlord. That's it, 10 max. But it's probably less, because basically, if you're really lucky, beating it 5 times could get you from the final boss the full augment piece for one of each of the slots. Now, what are the odds of getting one of each of the 5 slots in those 5 kills? Very unlikely. You're probably going to get duplicates of one or the other. So it's like, it is what it is. But at the very most, you just need 10, and you'll 100% be able to just trade those pieces. So 10 runs, full set for one piece of gear. So the fact that you have to do 60 runs, 60 runs, Forked Tower. Not that 60. Not 60. 30. It's only 5 pieces. So 5 times 6. So you need 6 runs. So like it's insane. It's really insane. I have no fucking clue why they ever thought that would be a good idea. Like, that is so ridiculously stupid. The fact that you need 60 for that, it's like, what, are you fucking kidding me? Now, I might hold on to the Sanguinite. I'm not 100% sure, simply because 60 seems like a lot, and it feels like they're going to lower the cost of that. Because like, the fact that you need 6, it's what's even more weird about it is that like every other piece. So like you buy this gear with 4,000 silver for the non +1 gear, and to make it +1, you give it 3 Aetherspun silver and 3 like something fixatives, which you purchase with gold. It's 3 of each. So 3 Aetherspun silver, which you spend silver on, 3 of the fixatives you buy with gold, and so you would need a total of 15 of each of those to upgrade each of the 5 pieces. And for the +2, you need 3 of these Aetherspun gold, which you can only find in overworld chests, which is like, okay, whatever, you can farm that. You get lucky. It's whatever, right? But you need 3 of them per piece. So it's like, okay, again, you just need 15. But for some reason, for the fixatives that you exchange for Sanguinite, for some reason they thought it'd be a good idea to, instead of using 3, like needing to buy 3, like every single other time, they're like, no, you need 6 of these, and they cost 10 Sanguinite each, and you only get 10 Sanguinite for a full clear run, right? Like, so the fact that we're only able to beat the bosses, the first 2 bosses, we're not even getting that. We're just getting 6. So I'm getting 6 a run each time I go into prog, which is like, okay, even though it sucks that we're not doing actual prog and I'm not going to be able to get and beat dragons, I'm still progressing that a little bit. But it still means that I would need 5 or I need 60. So I would need to do 10 runs. I need to do 10 of these failed runs. 10 of these, like, whoops, you got fucked by, random people fucking up mechanics. I need to do 10 of those just to get one more piece of gear upgrade. It's just like, oh, that's just so bad. Like, the support tower needs to give more Sanguinite, or they need to not need to buy 6 of those fixatives for some reason. Like, I have no clue why. Everything else up in that point was 3, 3, 3. It's like, 3 Aether Spun Silver and Gold, 3 of the fixatives you buy with gold, but 6 for the Sanguinite purchased ones. What? Why? You've set the price. Why the fuck just make it 3? Like, even if you want to make it cost 60 total, then just make it cost 20 and you only need 3 of them. Like, why change the number specifically for that? It's like so weird. But anyway, that's beside the point. It's just frustrating, and it's rough. And I do think that it's just the fact that we just don't have set people on jobs means that you can't like sign up and be like, oh, I'm a good tank, I'm a good this. Like, sure, if you come in and say, hey, I want to be tank, right? You'll probably be able to be tank, right? There will probably be a group that's missing a tank. You can go into there. So, like, if you want to be a tank, that's fine. It's for those special jobs. Like, not everyone has Geomancer, not everyone has Time Mage, and even if they do have either one of those, you're not using them that much. Like, you're not using these phantom jobs out in the open world that much. Usually, you're just swapping to a pure DPS class like Samurai or Cannoneer. And not the other ones. Now, some people still swap to the other ones. Time Mage is kind of useless in any CE, but they are. Combat is okay, I guess. And Geomancer actually has a use in one of the CEs because you can actually suspend your allies to avoid damage. So, like, there are some uses for Geomancer, but most of the time people just aren't Geomancer. So it's just kind of, it's a little frustrating, and I was kind of saying too, is that to my group, it's like it's that. So the fact that we can't keep any sort of consistency, and we're not trying to force people who know the jobs to be the jobs, and instead just kind of relying on ad hoc volunteers who maybe don't know the job that well and don't know what to do. And we go in assuming everyone's read the guides and knows exactly what to do. And sure, call-outs will help, but like sometimes, they're just not fucking ready. And so it's just like, yeah. So shit like this is more likely to happen in situations like that. And then the other fact is that, well, and that was also the weird thing too, is that the guy was setting up parties of 42. So he was setting up 6 parties of 7 instead of 6 parties of 8. Which, and like intentionally so, like he'd be like, oh, your party is 7, okay, take down the party finder, don't leave it up, don't even let other people join. And it's like, why? Like, because the problem with doing that is that it means that you're more likely to get people to do jobs that they don't want to do because you don't have enough other people. Like when you have, it's like by removing one person from each party, you're removing 6 potential players who could be jobs that are necessary, right? Like, because you definitely do want, you 100% need 2 Time Mages, you 100% need 2 Geo, you 100% need 2 Thieves and 2 Rangers. So it's like, and every single party has to have a tank and a chemist. So it's just like, so of the 7 party members, 1 has to be chemist, 1 has to be knight, like flat out, you just have to have that. So that means only 5 remaining people in the parties can be other things. And like, if you're gonna do a full clear with Magitar, you need 1 Oracle, you need 1 Berserker, you need at least 2 Bards. So like, of the remaining 35 people, like that's 4 more gone. You need you kind of want Cannoneers for the silver cannons. It's like, it just, by having 6 less people, you're just making things a little more complicated, because it's like you have 6 less people who might know how to do Thief or Ranger or one of the specific jobs that has a specific role. And because you're excluding them, you're now forcing someone who maybe is not familiar with it to do something, to try it. And they might be good. Like, I was perfect. When I was a Ranger, I was absolutely fucking perfect. I missed my Falcon like once or twice, but like, it didn't like fuck anything up. I just missed it because I'm on controller, and my joystick. I moved my joystick forward and tried to press X, but it went too far. The cursor went too far, and I missed it. But like, and this was like in between the first and second boss. So like, who gives a shit? But like in the bridges, I was absolutely perfect. I got the traps right away. I was great at it. So it's like, it's not hard, but people just don't know the mechanics. Don't go and look for the mechanics. The shot caller in this instance didn't really explain it that well. There have been runs previously this week where he did a much better job of explaining it, and I think it's just because he's done it so much and he's trying to get the same people doing it over and over again. He's like not explaining it to everybody. But the problem with that is that we're never filling up 100% with the exact same people every single time. It's like we're having a lot of floaters come in and out, and when you're floating the jobs as well, it's just like, you know, and not getting people to do consistently the same job and Phantom job, you're just gonna get shit like this happening. So you're just basically introducing inconsistency into these runs, and then combined with that is that this Discord group is just generally too nice. So like as I said, he was trying to go in with like, oh yeah, we're going to go in 6 parties of 7. It's like, okay, it's the instance scales with how many people you bring in. So having less people doesn't like make it more challenging for us, other than the fact that we have to now have having 6 extra people mean we can bring in 6 extra Phantom jobs. And if these 6 extra Phantom jobs are all DPS and they're all people who have mastered all their Phantom jobs, they're getting a huge bonus, and they're all doing these heavy hitting DPS bonuses. So they will do more damage if possible. But the problem is when you're going in with only 42 out of 48 is that you will get randos to show up, and realistically what we should do is say, oh, we have like 1 or 2 randoms that have shown up. Okay, what we should do is mark them so that we don't heal them. But what I've seen happen is that they're like, oh, whoops, there's a random. Oh, we'll just invite them into our party. Oh, we'll just continue helping them and having them come with us. And it's like, yeah, except when the random doesn't know what the fucking mechanics are, stands in the wrong spot, and fucks everybody over. And it might be they might know the fight, but they're using different strats. But they don't know that we're using different strats because they didn't like. And you see that they never ask anything, and maybe they are in the voice chat. Maybe they join the voice chat and are just listening in, but like they don't say anything in chat at all. Not to the party, not in say chat, not in shout chat, and I don't think I hear them say anything in Discord. And then they fuck up like this, and you're just like, well, fuck you, dude, Jesus Christ, And so realistically, what we need to do is leave them dead. Just don't fucking res them. And you might be like, well, that's just mean. It's like, no, it's not mean. You know what's mean? Going in with a preformed group and not communicating properly in group content where you need to coordinate with your group to not coordinate with your group intentionally, and due to your ignorance, you fuck over everyone. You fuck over the entire group. You sucking dick cost the lives of 47 people and wasted like a literal hour of everyone's life. You wasted 1 hour from 47 people's life just because you're a piece of shit who just couldn't stay the fuck away and find your own group, right? You're like, no, I want to join. And it's like, dude, you fucked us all over. I hope you think it was worth it. It's just like, so realistically, we should just not include them in our groups. Like, don't invite them into our parties. Don't heal them. Don't do anything for them. Just let them die and leave their dead bodies there. Like, just simply do that. And it might sound cruel and mean and stuff like that, but it's like, well, fuck them, Because you remember, this is predicated on them just intentionally fucking over us as a group, right? This one person and this one selfish person coming in and being like, oh, I want to ruin everyone's good time by not participating in this group content. Because they're not participating in group content. They're not saying anything in chat. They're not joining the voice chat. They are clearly not participating as a group. They're participating as an individual. So if you're not going to engage with the group content, then don't join the group content, right? So, and that's why I'm like, yeah, you should not invite these people. you should just let them die. Don't go out of your way to kill them, but just let them die. You know, when they die to a mechanic, you know, because it's better for them to die and just for us to leave them there than for us to res them, take us and go to the next boss, where them fucking up a mechanic wipes the entire group, right? Because the second boss has a few mechanics where one person at the wrong spot can fuck over the entire run, you know? So it's really, really bad. Like, and someone was saying, oh, well, they could report you for griefing, or like report you for like uncooperative play. I'm like, really? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, because like the idea, like the complaint these people have will be, oh, it's open content, anyone can join. It's like, yeah, sure, but like, you realize you joining is going to fuck people over. You're just being selfish. You want to do this, and you want the world to cater to you. You want because it's this crazy thing. Like, you see it all the time, where people like want to join a group, but don't ever want to form a group. They're like, oh, I want to join a group, and like you have people who are complaining that like party finders for gold farming would only be looking for cannoneers, right? Because there's an easy strat where if you're a bunch of tanks, you can just invuln a huge pull, and cannoneers can destroy them, because the cannons are AoE damage, and they do a set amount of damage, and the set amount of damage is really high, much higher than any one of our actual abilities. So it's an easy way to do this. And so people were forming groups just with cannoneers and only wanted cannoneers. And you had people complain, hey, like, it's bullshit that the only parties I see fill up for gold farms are for the cannoneers. I don't have a cannoneer. It's like, yeah, well, then form your own group. Like, it's not the world's responsibility to cater to you, right? If you are not a cannoneer, or you do not want to be a cannoneer, then join a non-cannoneer party or create one yourself. Like, it's not that group's responsibility to cater to you and let you in. It's just, you get a lot of entitled assholes like that, and that's basically what it is for these people trying to join these Fork Tower runs just randomly, is that they're just selfish. They're selfish. They don't want to, like, they just want to clear the content. They just want to do it, and they don't care that they're fucking over a bunch of people. They don't care that they're wasting everyone else's time, because they don't know the mechanics. And like, they don't know the mechanics of the fight. They don't know the strat that we're using, so they don't know, because like there are some differences and where safe spots are and how we call stuff out. So if you're used to a different thing, then yeah, that could be a problem. So it is an issue. And you just get a bunch of people who just are like, well, I can join and I'm allowed to join, so I should be able to join. And it's like, yeah, but you're just being a selfish piece of shit. Like, there are lots of Discords out there where you could just join fresh prog groups and just go in and do this shit. You don't have to be an asshole like this. Like, spend some effort to find a group. Hell, even just like, rather than going into a Fork Tower run with other people, oh, you're a preformed group, yeah. What Discord are you in? I'll join your Discord, and I'll join a run next time. Then I'm not going to join now because I don't want to fuck you guys over. And to be fair, like, the people who are joining might not be familiar with Fork Tower, right? Like, at all, and they don't know how challenging and punishing it is. So they think, oh yeah, maybe it should be fine to join, and then not realize that they've basically signed a death warrant for everybody, right? And that's why, like, since we can't stop that, I think, that's why the only thing we can do is just mark them, don't res them, let them try out the mechanic, let them die, and then leave their body on the ground and walk away. It's not our responsibility. It's not the world's responsibility to cater to you. You wanted to join, and fuck off then. Jesus Christ, so yeah. So like, it's. I get it that it can be unsportsmanlike, but it's like, it's more unsportsmanlike for you to come in and selfishly waste everyone's time because you can't be bothered to find a group of your own. Like, it's not like there's like no groups out. There's fuckloads of groups out. So it's just like, yeah, it's just selfish. It's basically the same thing happened in Baldessian Arsenal. Like, Dulibrum Savage was great because you could queue for it directly, right? And even the Dulibrum Normal, you could duty finder it. Yeah. Well, I mean, not really duty finder, but you could queue for it. You could go into Gangos and put yourself into a queue and go into Delubrum normal. So, you could do that without having to, like, look for a static or group. But, like, for Delubrum Savage, you fucking needed a group. And you got your 48 players, and you formed your alliance, and then you went into, and you queued directly into it. And that's, realistically, considering how punishing this is, like, the mechanics aren't as challenging as Delubrum Savage. And I think that's kind of why they thought, well, and difficulty-wise, I would honestly say it's probably just between Eureka and Delubrum Savage. I think Baldesion Arsenal is the easiest, then this, then Delubrum Savage. So it's not as difficult. But there's just a lot more personal mechanics in Delubrum Savage, and so it's really easy to die. And if you have too many deaths, you're fucked. You can revive unlimitedly. You have unlimited revives, but the only way to revive is by using these specific lost actions. Sacrifice is back, so you can still stack chain. But there's also these specific, and you have the re-raise as well. With the like Ordained from Baldesion Arsenal with 70% chance of raising yourself on death. But then there's this other action where it has like a 5% chance of success to resurrect someone. So the idea is that you can't keep too many of those raises in your bag because your bag only has a limited amount of space, and there's a certain amount of weight to those raises. So there's only a certain number of attempts you have to raise, which then obviously puts a cap on how many times someone could be raised. Obviously, if you're lucky, then yeah, you can get a shitload of them. But either way, so this is a little better in the sense that you can 100% raise, which means it's 100% raise, which means you can do it in the middle of combat easily and without worry. For the most part, obviously, there are some mechanics you have to only raise when you're sure this is a good time to raise, where you won't fuck things up, and die immediately, because you only have three resurrections before you're dead for good. So yeah, it's kind of in between. I think the mechanics themselves aren't super hard. I think the problem we have is just the fact that every single run is just wasting a lot of time. Like if we spend this queue kind of started at like 9:15, and we kind of wrapped things up. We wrapped up our second run at the end of 12:15. So it was 3 hours. But we only did 2 runs, and the runs themselves took like 30 minutes each. It's because it took us like 30 minutes to get all 6 of our parties into one instance, and then we had to wait 30 minutes for Fork Tower to spawn, and then we had to do a 30-minute Fork Tower run, wipe at bridges, and then 30 minutes waiting for the Fork Tower to spawn again, and then another 30-minute run before we wiped again. So it's like the amount of time actually spent in Fork Tower was like less than half the total time of the run. Whereas if you spend 3 hours in a Baldesion, or not Baldesion National, if you spend 3 hours on a Delubrum Savage run, that's 3 hours of solid prog. It's just like, yeah, you go in, you go in again. Oh, you wipe, you go right back in. You just queue immediately back, right? There's no wasted time. And that's the other thing, too, that just brings down, like, morale, right? You wipe, and then it's like, ugh, great. So now we have to wait 30 minutes before we can even go back in. So it's not even like, oh, fuck, we wiped? Okay, let's go right back in and do it again. I'm sure we can do it this time. Now we know what not to do, right? Like, if we didn't have that downtime, it would be better. So I really, really hope that Square Enix learns from this. And because, like, Baldesion Arsenal was the first one, right? It's the only one they did. And people kind of hated it back then, but I don't think it was as bad because the instance size was bigger. The mechanics weren't as punishing. So, like, there was very few instances where one bad player could fuck over the entire group. One bad player just would die. And the reses were even harder in Baldesion Arsenal. Even less options for reses, so they were pretty much dead for the entire fight. And so it was like, yeah, could you beat the boss without that DPS? And and then as people got more and more elemental power by upgrading their gear, one dead player didn't really mean much because they were outputting like two or three players worth of damage. So yeah, easy, like no huge issue. And then Delubrum Savage came out, and I mean, honestly, Bozja was designed very, very, very well. Like, Bozja was very well designed, because Bozja, like, it didn't have as many zones as Eureka, so there was less leveling, and in fact, you didn't even need to level in Bozja, but you could use it to actually level your jobs. So you could, rather than being max level, like for Eureka and Occult Crescent, you have to be max level, and then you go inside and you level a unique leveling system inside those instances. But Bozja was like, nah, you don't have to be max level for the expansion. You can be max level of the previous expansion, and while doing fates and skirmishes and critical engagements in Bozja, you can actually level your job. You're getting metal, which is how you could progress within that zone. Kind of like Phantom Job experience, somewhat to a degree, or like silver or gold. It's a combination of all of them, really. You also like level your jobs as well. So people would go into Bozja just to like level their jobs. Oh, I got to level like 80. Cool, it's time to go into Bozja, and I can level my classes from 80 to 90 while also working on all these other things, right? So like that was a kind of interesting thing. And then the cool thing is they reduced the number of instances, because like 4 instances for Eureka was rough. You don't really need that. I think 2 is fine. And that's the thing, is like Bozjan 2 was fine, because like I guess the only issue is that like the Southern Front was segmented. I mean, Southern Front and Zadnor are segmented in 3 sections, where it's like, oh, here's the low level section, and you have to increase your metal rank so that you can go into the middle section, then increase your metal rank some more by doing more critical engagement skirmishes. Then you can go to the final area, because you need to be a certain metal rank to do the quest to unlock the door to the next zone, the next area of that zone, to get everything unlocked. And then you could do Castrum Latorum, which was a really interesting kind of Alliance Raid style fate, critical engagement for the Southern Front, which was really cool, because it had a lot of mechanics. It had a lot of people fucking up. You had to be somewhat coordinated, but it wasn't super challenging. It was basically a little more challenging than like an Alliance Raid. And actually, honestly, it was kind of the same level as an Alliance Raid, really. But then they kind of started making Alliance Raids much easier. So, like, Endwalker Alliance Raid was pretty easy. I think, like, Shadowbringers was fine. I think the Nier Automata Alliance Raid was pretty challenging. Relatively challenging, and I'd say that was fine. A good difficulty, but yeah, Endwalker was, like, super easy. And I think they did a good job ramping it up. I'm curious to see what the next one for Dawntrail will be, and how challenging it will be. But that was the cool thing. So you had the Southern Front, you had all these places for skirmishes and critical engagements, and then you had this big mega critical engagement where you've got a bunch of people in, and it was really cool. And it was kind of like if you had people who didn't know what the fuck they're doing, you could have problems, because some of the because there were body checks for a lot of the shit. So it's like if you didn't have the right bodies at the right locations, then you could screw up as well. So there were some things, and like you needed a lot of people to do it, or a bunch of people to do it. You couldn't just get I think later on there were people who tried to do it really low, like very few amount of people, like going in with 8 people or something like that. Something pretty small, but like realistically you kind of needed more if you wanted just a random group to do it. And it was unlikely you would be able to do it with a random group, simply because there are a lot of mechanics, and so it's just far more likely that if it's truly a group of randoms, they just don't know the mechanics and will die. And once all of them are dead, then you're fucked. But it was still it wasn't super challenging. Anyone could just kind of join. It was really fun. And then in between Southern Front and Zadnor, they introduced Delubrum and Delubrum Savage. And Delubrum Normal was fine. And it kind of had some of the same... it had the same mechanics as Savage. Savage just layered them more on top of each other and had them happen faster and with less warning. So, in Normal, they might show you the AoE of where the attack's going to be and give you a decent amount of time to react. in Savage, it's like, no, pretty much by the time you see the AoE, that's when it's going off. So it's just kind of more of an afterthought of, yes, this is where the AoE is for future reference, because you just got hit by it, because we didn't give you enough warning. You have to know, okay, when you see this is the AoE marker was just kind of there to be like, yeah, you should have used a visual cue from earlier, but to let you know this is the order of the attacks. Now figure out based on that what visual cues you need to look out for, type shit. So, but it was really good because like normal people could do it, and it was essentially the normal mode was basically like another alliance raid. It was just like, yeah, it was kind of like an alliance raid, not super challenging. I mean, it's not super easy, but not super challenging. And then the Lupin Savage took another level, and both of them queued in. Like for the normal mode, you can just queue in by yourself and just find 24 other people. Back in the day, now it waits a certain amount of time and just queues you with whoever. So it doesn't need the full 24. It will, if only 8 people queued up for it, you'll just be running with 8. So, but then because you were queuing in for this and it was its own little instance thing, the Savage ones was really cool, and it's kind of like the same kind of difficulty of the chaotic alliance raid, basically. Except rather than just one fight, it was multiple fights back to back with like trash mobs in between. So it was really, really well designed. And then they had Zadnor again, which is again another huge area segmented in 3 sections, where you have to level up your metal rank to do further quests to get to the next zones, the next portion of the zone. And then it culminated in another critical engagement, Dal Rialda, that was very much like Castelatorum, another kind of alliance raid type thing where you needed a big group of people to all go in and do a gauntlet of bosses. Very well designed, like all in all. Like it had a little bit for everybody. Like it had the Fates and CE grinds. It had the grinds for the relic weapons that some people like. It had instance Savage content as well as a normal version for regular people. So like, because like that's the other thing is like people just don't know what Fork Tower is. Like, and the only way to know Fork Tower is to go in and do it. There is no like easy mode Fork Tower for them to like play around with and be like, oh cool, I think I understand things. Let me try the harder version now. It's no. There's like, I want to see what it is, and then not realizing that it's like, no, you suck. Like if you don't know things, you're gonna die. Like, so yeah. So I don't think the design is, and then the pacing of stuff is a little fast. It's fine. It definitely, the pacing of the CEs and Fates I find it okay, but I was watching people stream it, and I'm like, yeah, I can see the complaining because they're never getting to the Fates on time. And it's like, well, yeah, because everyone will just use Occult Return. When a Fate is done, they'll use Occult Return, go to the teleporter, wait for the new one to pop, teleport right to it, get on their mount, and zip over to it. But what you're doing is you're waiting for the Fate to finish, then you're running over to the teleporter. It's like, well, yeah, but like the Fates pop like almost immediately. Like it's a few second gap. So in the 10 seconds it takes you to get, like the Fates might pop, the next Fate might pop like 5 seconds later, but it took you 10 seconds to get back to the teleporter. Well, it's like, well, if I Occult Return, in 5 seconds I'm back in camp and I'm at the teleporter, ready to teleport right away. And that's only if it takes you 10 seconds to get back to the teleporter. Sometimes the Fates are far away, and if you're actually just riding back, you're wasting time where people who are waiting at the teleporter will just teleport and then start, right? So obviously you're going to be late. And, once you get until you get in the groove, it's fine. And it's a tough thing because I do like it because it's like you are constantly going. It's go, 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 go. It's like, go do this, like go to this Fate, because you can get like 3 Fates in between a CE. So you get 3 Fates in, CE pops, and sometimes you might sometimes you do 2 Fates, CE pops, and you can get a 3rd Fate before the CE actually finishes because you get 3 minutes to do it. You have 3 minutes to get to the CE, so it's like you can get 3 Fates in and then do the CE, and then pop out of the CE, and then go back and do 3 more Fates. So you can keep it a constant stream, and because there's only like one thing to do, because there's only like one Fate popping at a time, We'll ignore the pot fate for now. And the problem is the pot fate just don't spawn frequently enough to be an actual distraction. It's like, sure, you could go do it, but they only pop every 30 minutes, so it's like, oh, well then, yeah, you're not going to have the opportunity because you might be in a CE at the time, or you might split away some people who are doing fates. But like previously, but there were 2 bunnies in every single map, and so if you really wanted, or 2 bunny fates in each map. Actually, maybe Hadatos just had the 1. Did they have 2? But Pagos and Pyros definitely had 2 bunny fates. And so it's like, yeah, once you did one, got your bunny, you go to the other one. So you could just cycle between bunny fates if you wanted. Although it's usually not, because sometimes someone will do a bunny fate and then not follow their bunny anywhere. And basically, if there's any active bunny on a person who did the fate won't respawn until all the bunnies have disappeared. So you definitely got some people being salty that people would just do the fate, get a bunny, and then don't interact with their bunny. And so we have to wait 15 minutes for it to expire on its own before the bunny fate could pop up again. So it's like, please stop wasting everyone's time. Just, if you're not going to use the bunny, just click off it and get rid of it. But of course they don't. It's their assholes. Or people dumb. But yeah, but they were there, and so it was a distraction. So like some people did those instead of the Notorious Monsters or other farming stuff. So it's like, it was interesting. But for here, like, there really isn't that. It's like, no, everyone's just doing the fast track. Just fate, CE, fate, CE. Sometimes you get some gold farmers, sure. But they're their own preformed parties. It's like they don't distract for anything. It's like the random other farming in Eureka and Bajda as well. It doesn't do much. So it's just like, yeah, it's nice that it's fast paced, and that because there's no other distractions, pretty much everyone is doing it. So everyone in the instance is doing the same thing, which makes it go faster for the most part. But it does, and even if you miss a fate or if you miss a CE, there's always something to do. And because, let's say you don't make a CE, fates are still popping. So whoever didn't make the CE could also be doing the fate. And since there's only one fate, anyone who didn't make the CE and is still wants to level and shit will be doing it. So it's nice that because of because there are less things to do, everyone's focused on the few things that are to do. Whereas in Bajda, because the sections of the map you could be were determined by your medal rank, you had to make sure there was stuff to do in every single one of the 3 sections, which then segments out the people who are in the instance. Because some people only just started playing the Bajdan instance, so they are only in the bottom sections. So some people haven't gotten to the top section where all the most medal and rewards are. So it's so they'd be in the middle. So it's it just split the population of the instance into various sections of the map. And because there were so many things popping constantly, and so because there would always have to be a fate in every single section, it's it's constantly diverting people. And now there would still be people who were oh, if this fate popped, okay, let's go do this one and then do this other one close by. And try to get a consistent group going back to back to fates, but it just wasn't super consistent. So Eureka kind of had that issue too. Except there was a lot more downtime for Eureka because it seemed like the popping rate of monsters was pretty low. It took a while to spawn them, so there was a lot of times just waiting for people to spawn stuff. I mean, I chose to wait. Sometimes I would help spawn it, but other times I wouldn't. I just be like, fuck this, because I'd be in there for so much time to get all my relics. I was like, I don't want to help every single time. But yeah, there'd be a lot of downtime in between. So it took a while to spawn stuff. So there's a lot of instances where there just wasn't anything up at that moment. And so definitely when something did pop, there would be a mad rush of activity so everyone would go and do it. So it did, because things pop so infrequently, that when things did, everyone went to it. So it's kind of like this, except this takes the approach of we're going to have something always be active, but because there's only because we limit it, there's only going to be one CE active at a time, there's only going to be one fate active at a time. If you miss the CE, then you're going to go do the fate type things. It's it naturally directs people to do the things together easily. And same for Notorious Monsters. Now, you, in theory, could pop more than one Notorious Monster. There definitely were some groups who were like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna farm mobs here. I'm gonna farm mobs here." Whoops, we both popped a Notorious Monster, and there'd be some, a little bit of a clusterfuck trying to make sure people weren't killing one and they weren't pulled at the same time until they killed them both at the same time. Because then you get, half the people who killed one wouldn't get the experience of the other, and vice versa. So that was kind of annoying, but so you try to get people to wait, but it's hard to get people to actually wait. So on one hand, it's kind of interesting and good because it's keep up a nice fast pace where you can just go in and like time flies when you're grinding that shit out. You're just like, wow, fuck, I was doing this for an hour. You're just because you're constantly doing stuff. And then like the time you have waiting for a seed, so the seed pops, you rush over to it, and then you have like time to go to the bathroom and get food and shit like that. So it's like, hey, I'm just talking about my impressions of Occult Crescent. It is, it's Final Fantasy XIV. It's an MMO. I was talking about the newest content they added to it, Occult Crescent, which introduced a 48-man raid, and we were just getting out of 2 attempts trying to get to the 3rd boss, but because it's a 48-man raid, you could say that, but not really. This is a subscription model. It's a buy and then it's buy the game and then purchase a subscription. But you could also say it's free to play in a sense, because the game has a ridiculously good free trial. So basically, if you just Google Final Fantasy XIV free trial, basically what you can do is when you download the trial, you have to set up a Square Enix account first, obviously, but basically with the free trial, what you can do is you can play the base game, which is A Realm Reborn, the 2.0 patch, and the first 2 expansions. So you can play the 2.0 base game, all the 2.1 to 2.5 patches, 3.0. Oh, thank you. The 3.0 expansion, as well as the patches 3.1 to 3.5, and also the 4.0 Stormblood. So you can play the base game, Heavensward, and Stormblood, and all their patch content, and all the shit that comes with it, for free. So it's kind of free to play. Obviously, there are more expansions than that. So like that's just the base game and 2 expansions, but there's a total of like 5, I think, expansions that are Heavensward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, Endwalker. So there's 3 more expansions after that. I mean, I guess so. I've been playing it for like 10 years, so I guess this kind of is, but like I'm not. I mean, it's an MMO, so it is kind of grindy in a way, because like they want to give you something to do, to keep you playing the game, and like to give you something to do with other people. And so that's kind of what this raid is that it's with 48 other people, well, 47 other people. Which is unfortunate because we didn't even get to the 3rd boss, which we were trying to get some experience on. No, I do not like horror games at all. I do not like jump scares. I don't like any of that shit. And unfortunately, some of the people didn't know what the fuck they were supposed to do, and so they fucking wiped. So we didn't even get to the 3rd boss, which is unfortunate. Yeah, it is what it is. And so then I started talking about how it differed from previous times when the game had other content like that. No, I'm not interested in any FromSoft game. I like games for story, and FromSoft doesn't really do story. And I'm not a huge action combat fan to begin with, so it's like I'm not a huge action combat fan. I play action combat games if they have a good story, but like Elden Ring and all FromSoft games have a pretty much a non-existent story. So it's just like I don't really feel the need to bash my head against a wall for pretty much nothing. So, like, I want to play God of War. I've been putting off that for a bit. I want to play Witcher 3, both obviously action games, but they have a story. And So I'm fine. Like while action combat is not my favorite, I played Final Fantasy 16 as well, which is a pure action Devil May Cry style action combat game for the story. Like, was action combat my favorite? No, not at all. But I still did it because I wanted to. I mean, I'm not gonna like max out the difficulty. I'll just do. I don't put games on like hard mode. I just leave it on normal. Because like I don't really I don't give a shit about like a challenge. I don't like it's not like, oh wow, I beat a challenging boss, I feel good. It's like no, I'm playing the game to experience the story. So like bashing my head against a wall, learning a boss's mechanics and overcoming a super challenging boss is not like okay, but like who gives a shit, right? Like I'm doing it for the story. Like but simultaneously, I'm not going to put it on like easy mode and be like, I don't want to trivialize it because it is that one of those tough balancing acts where it's like if it's too easy, then it kind of becomes boring and it kind of ruins the immersion. But if it's too hard, it also ruins the immersion because you're just like you're wasting too much time on like doing this boss when you should be just playing the game, you know. So that's another reason why I don't like FromSoft because they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna have challenge for challenge's sake. We won't provide you a story to incentivize you to continue playing. It's like, no, you play FromSoft games if you want like just a challenge, and you're like, oh yeah, I just want to have challenging combat. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, why do you want why are you fighting this boss? Who knows? Why are you doing anything in the game? Who the fuck knows? Like, none of it makes any sense. Like for Elden Ring, it's like, oh, you want to become the Elden Lord? Okay, why? Why do you want to become the Elden Lord? Like, what's the point? And like, what is the Elden Lord? Like, what's the point of being the Elden Lord? When it seems like Marika is the one who had the actual power, like, what does being the Elden Lord get you? Like, sure, you're the consort of the person contracted with the higher will, but like, okay, does that give you some special powers or something? Like, what does that do for you? And like, no one ever explains that. So if no one knows what the fuck the Elden Lord is, then why the fuck does everyone want to be the Elden Lord, right? Like, all this, like, obvious shit that just is never explained. And FromSoft has trained people not to give a shit, right? Like, the people who play FromSoft games aren't looking for a story, so they don't even bother trying. And it's fine, right? Like, it's fine. But for me, it's just like I still want a purpose. And, like, just wandering around aimlessly is not super fun for me. Yeah, I just ignored that where are you from, because, like, why the fuck would I answer that, right? Why does that matter? Also, I am responding to you. It's like, obviously I'm reading your chats. Like, I am answering your questions, so just because I didn't answer one question. Really? I'm not reading your chats because I didn't answer one of your questions? Despite answering at least 5 up until this point? Anyway. So you're here to sell your art, I assume. You want to sell something. You're an artist. You have a graphic designer. You want to sell your shit. I'm not interested in that at all. I have no need for it. I'm perfectly fine the way I am. I have no goals. I don't need any promotions. I don't need anything like that. Cool. Just that you ask some questions that people come. You ask a lot of the same questions that people who come in here trying to sell their shit say. So I just assumed. But if you're a gamer, then what do you play? I mean, you mentioned Elden Ring, so are you a FromSoft fan, or is action combat your thing, or? Okay, see ya. You don't have manners how to talk to a girl. Are you a girl? Like, okay. I don't have manners to talk to girls. Like, I'm sorry, but like asking where are you from, that's not really good manners either. Like, sure, it's fine to ask questions, but like getting actually personal identifiable information, like really, like that, and that's good manners. Anyway, despite them saying that they were a gamer and not a bot or a person trying to sell some stuff, I still think they are. Because I've had people say, "Oh no, I'm not," and then like you lead the conversation on. They're like, "Oh, yeah, what's your goals with your Twitch account? Oh, are you trying to become an affiliate? Are you trying to become a partner? I can help you out. You just join this Discord, do this thing or this thing," and it's like, yeah, okay, so you aren't an artist, but you still are trying to sell me something. Maybe not literally sell me something, but you still are trying to push me into doing something. But anyway. Oh shit, it's really not late. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. But yeah, basically, to wrap that up, basically, yeah, it's like, it's challenging content. It is unfortunate that you do get a lot of selfish people who just want to like piggyback on other people and like try to get when there is a preformed group. And I think there definitely is a cultural difference, and I think in Japan, I don't think this is as common. I think if there was a preformed group in Japan, and they're like, "Oh no, we're a preformed group," I think in Japan they are far less likely to have someone try to snipe. You know, if a guy comes up and he's like, "Hey, you know, are you guys a preformed group?" and they said, "Yeah," they're like, "Oh, okay," and they might ask where the Discord is or how if they can join the next run. But I'm pretty sure, like 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, they would just be like, "Okay, and I'm just gonna leave now because like you're a preformed group. I'll just let you guys do it." Whereas like for Americans and for Western civilization, they're just like, you get like, I mean, it's like it's the exact opposite. We get like one time out of 10 where they don't try to snipe. It's like, yeah. So anyway, I would say, yeah, like, I really hope that they learn from this. Like, I think the loot is not super bad, like because it is so fast paced. It's constantly go go go, so it's nice. It is a pretty good distraction. Notorious monster farming was like slow and a lot of downtime, or you have to be just like killing monsters, which is just kind of boring. And you're just like, because you're just like, oh, you're in a group just killing random things over and over and over and over and over again, trying to spawn a monster. It's like, it just feels so boring to do that. Because of how long it would take to do it. And then Bajia just had way too many things spawning all the time, which made things rough sometimes, because sometimes, like, you're like, oh, okay, there's this many people in the instance, I'm going to go do the CE, but I didn't realize that, like, a majority of the people in the instance can't even get to that CE because their medal rank is too low, so I'm going to be doing this with, like, 5 people. And you're just like, well, fuck, that's annoying, right? So, like, that's the kind of tough thing. Whereas, like, this is much more accessible to everybody in Occult Crescent, because everyone scales in the CE, so like there is no like level anymore. Like you can join any CE you want. You just got to get there, which is super easy to do. You have 3 minutes to do it. Like unless you just joined, like literally just joined, and have to go from like camp to Calamity Unbound. Like yeah, sure, it might take you more than 3 minutes to get on your mount and travel out there. But like pretty much every other CE is easy to get to, even for like people who just joined the instance. So. And you can like participate and be helpful. So it's like there is no, and like for Notorious Monsters, like you'd get such a small amount of experience if you were doing a Notorious Monster too high above your own level, because they're like, yeah, you're just here as elite, you're doing no damage, so we're just going to give you like barely any experience. It's better than nothing, and since everyone's there anyway to do it, you kind of have to do it. But it's still it's kind of rough. So I think this is improved upon that. But I think its fast pace can be good if you want to go. But if you don't want to do that, then it kind of sucks. Because like if you are not really ready to just keep zipping along, then you're going to be in trouble. So, and then of course, yeah, they made it queuable. They undid the queuable nature of it. So having to get 6 parties into an instance, well, it was a pain in the ass in Baldur's Arsenal, and it's now a pain in the ass here too. So that is unfortunate. because the fact that you can't like use any sort of queuing system, at least get your all the people in the same instance, right? It'd be one thing if you was like, oh yeah, I want to use the Baldesion Arsenal party finder, or not the Delubum Savage party finder to create my 6-party alliance, and then as an alliance join Occult Crescent to get into an instance, get my 6 parties into the instance, right? Like, they should let you do that. Because that's a big portion of the problem. And there's no real reason not to. Because, like, oh, you can't do that. Like, they mentioned that like, GMs have tried to stop people. It's like, why? Like, sure, we didn't use that, but we're doing the same thing anyway. At the end of the day, we're going to get our 6 parties into the instance. And just getting our 6 parties into the instance isn't going to, like, do anything. You know? We still have to, fight for people. Like, any rando could still show up. So it's like, unless, like, somehow it, like, breaks the instance. Like, the instance is just not prepared to handle the alliance like that, an alliance like that, trying to join an instance like that. Maybe there are bugs with that. Hopefully they're working on it, and hopefully they're getting it to work, and that would be nice. But anyway, so yeah, so I doubt they'll change it for Fork Tower. And that was the cool thing, though. It's like if you did the lock boards correctly, there would be a map which would then spawn a monster, kind of like a mini boss in the Cult Crescent where the marker was. And it's not as bad as the support fate from Baldesion Arsenal, because you could not beat the 3rd boss without doing the support fate. So if people fuck up the support fate, you're fucked. And there goes your run. And it was not, and support fate was relatively challenging as well. Whereas it seems like this boss, 1, you don't even need to kill it. Like, you don't have to kill it. And 2, it doesn't seem super hard to beat anyway. So it's like, oh, okay. So but it was cool. It's an interesting idea. But the problem is, because they have that, they have to have an instance. It has to be an instance, because it's a map of that instance. So this Baldur's Fork Tower has to exist within the instance. So it seems unlikely that they'll ever do something like a direct queue into Fork Tower. But they could, and I think they should, allow a direct queue for an alliance of 6 into an instance. To at least eliminate that portion of the pain point. And then they can do whatever the fuck they want. And I just hope that they learned from all the people bitching and moaning this time to just make their next Fork Tower type content just to be queuable directly. Just don't design it in a way that would require you to be in an instance. Just, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all